Hey there, my fellow tribe members, Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to The Tribe Must Survive, Episode 6, Incoming Flood. Alright, spiritual decision of Servants of the Shepherd. Spiritual choice. We have the shepherd takes care, or discipline and order. The shepherd takes care is a chance that when consuming yellow medicine, neuroticism goes up and conscientiousness goes up. There's a chance anytime we consume medicine. I am not sure if this is through daily consumption. I'd like to say it is, or through ritual consumption. It might be both. I'm not sure. Or discipline and order. If a tribe member is assigned to a building, they have a loss of discontent of 15. And if they're not assigned to a building, basically they're unemployed, they get discontent. So there you go. There's the choice. Currently, all but one of our members is assigned to a work building. And, well, let me fix that. 100% of our members is now assigned. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put them in as a crop farm. I would like another crop farm. In fact, I might like two. One crop farm here, because I have a lot of wood, so I'm going to use the wood. So I'm going to do a little bit of investment. Crop farms do use a tiny bit of stone that I didn't pull about, but I'm using it anyway. Here we go. Got a little bit more crop farms, just because there's a huge bonus in the chapter for crop farming, so might as well. And Rumfrim, let's get you working somewhere that you... I don't want my crop farmers to be reliable, essentially. So I'm going to fix that. So, because reliable workers don't have bonuses to crop farming. Okay, we did it. Good. And if you're wondering, our discontent is about 15. Our fear is 6. We're also getting pretty close to being able to spend 100 influence to change these numbers if we wish. Or save it for using as a way to avoid crises. All right, looks like we're going with discipline and order. So with discipline and order, our discontent is now at 5. Essentially, it negated almost all the discontent we had as a bonus to everybody being employed. Make one more change here. Put another lumber mill there, or lumber camp. Destroy this one. And put a third crop farm. And I know we're trying to save stone, but building up a supply of food is swell. Our explorers should be... so I think... No, they're both still exploring. Got it. One tribe member in the dark. Oh, so here's a great example. Here's our gleamer. The weird gleam. Yeah, they're not really adhering to social standards. They are wandering around in the dark, doing weird things. Completely disregarding social standards, going off into the woods on their own. Off into unexplored areas, in fact. And not working, because right now people are working, it's daytime. So instead of working at the lumber camp, they're just being weird. That's literally what it says they're doing. They're just chilling in the woods. Out on their own. In fact, they're neglecting their sleep so bad, they're delirious and gaining fear as a result. Whoa, look at this ritual. Everybody join that one. Alright, doing a quick social check. For spiritual need. So... 2 of our on a journey have critically high spiritual need. More or less, it's... Unless you gain spiritual need from random events, it's safer to do like 1 exploration and then come home. Just do a lot of them, a lot of short ones, unless you want a lot of gleamers. Is it possible to cure in gleam? No. Once gleam, forever gleam. Some, and the reason I can just say that without spoiling it is her spiritual needs are now met. They're average, and she has not lost it. So she went to -3, gained the trait, and has gone above -3 and has not lost the trait. We do have enough for tier 2. There we go. So what to research next? More pit workers, improve research rate, faster medicine gathering, forestry, so regrowing trees. Maybe I should spell that right, not regrowing teas. I mean, I like tea, but, you know, it's not in the game. Faster hunters, faster sleep, brighter fire, faster spiritual gain, faster stone mining, more researchers, and I'm going to leave out the farms and economical flames, A, because the poll's already too long, and B, they're not that relevant right now. So the tier 1 research is cheaper. 38 versus like 153. So the ones at the top of the list are less expensive. So if you think that they add a good modifier, it's way cheaper, for instance, to get improved research rate than more researchers. It's 38 versus 153. Just as a... I'm not trying to influence it. I'm just explaining that tier 1 is way cheaper than tier 2, which is way cheaper than tier 3. Tier 3, as you can see, is like into the multiple hundreds. So like influential inventions for tier 3 research is 459. And that's even with inspiration and ancient formulas discounting it. Otherwise it'd be 500. I'm moving a lumber camp so that the tents can be closer to the hub. We have 5 days, 10 hours of filling crops, and only 2 days, 19 hours of corrupted firewood. So, you ask about the gleam. I will have an answer for you soon, Fangface, as soon as I can send out another exploration team. I know the answer, but I don't want to spoil it until I actually functionally show it to you. So, more researchers. We're saving up for more researchers. So that is a threshold of 153 research points. So it's going to be a little while until we get that. We're pretty close to second tier of Disciples of the Beast. Once we have more green medicine to consume. Oh, that was another thing that I wished to offer you. What ratio of medicine? Let's do green medicine first. Green medicine to reserve for rituals. Green meds consumed reduce fear. 100, 75, 50. I'll just do 175 and 50. So this is essentially how much of the green medicine should be used in rituals to push up the spiritual aspects versus consumed daily to reduce fear. So if our fear levels right now are 6. Basically, nobody's all that fearful in the community at all. So there would be almost no benefit to consuming it daily to reduce fear, at least right now. Perhaps fearful things are coming on the horizon. Or use it all in the rituals to gain the most Disciples of the Beast benefits. That's what you're voting on. So if we reserve it for the rituals, we get more spiritual aspects. And if we don't reserve it in the rituals, we can reduce fear. And our fear is basically essentially 0 right now, so not a big deal. If our fear was higher, then it would be more effective to reserve it. Wow, this is a hell of a ritual here. Everybody attend. All right, good. That resolved right around the time that this did. Our bodies and minds beg for proper sleep. So we've read this one before. It's using wood for sleep satisfaction. Search for wood, which is grayed out. I'm not allowed to. I think because they're too tired to search for wood, or don't use wood. So choice, use wood, or don't. So their sleep needs are -3, which is pretty critical. Using wood would give them sleep satiety. And yeah, overwhelmingly, that's what you said to do. So now their sleep needs are fulfilled. Their social needs are low and their spiritual needs are critical. What to do? Turn back or go further. It's grayed out because the tribe member on that journey lack a trait needed for that option. Yeah, they weren't delirious. Correct. So what to do? Turn back or go further. So their fear is 25 because it gazes back. They got attacked by that tree. And then social needs are low. Spiritual needs are somewhat critical. You guys can decide. Looks like we're turning back. It's also worth noting, of course, that if your fear or discontent maxes out, they will abandon the tribe, and the knowledge gained on the journey will be lost. And if they die, obviously the knowledge gained on the journey will be lost. We still have positive cohesion. And yeah, okay. Pretty close to Disciples of the Beast. Tier 2. All right. How much yellow medicine to use in rituals? Yellow medicine improves productivity when consumed daily. So same as the green. The green, we're having 100% of it reserved for rituals, but this is for yellow, and I'll go down all the way to 0% because there's more of an added bonus consuming. Basically, because our fear is 0, there's almost no advantage to consuming it daily for fear reduction. But yellow medicine will increase productivity if consumed as daily consumption, and there's always room for added productivity, whereas there's not always room for reduction of fear. It's also worth noting that you have voted for us to go through the path of improvement, which reduces productivity. So using yellow medicine to counteract the loss of productivity due to embracing improvement is useful. Right now, not enough members embrace productivity. So our loss of productivity is only 0%, and the bonus of research is only 0.8%. But as people gravitate towards improvement, those productivity losses will start to accumulate. So you got 1 more minute to vote in that. Or whatever, 48 seconds. Ooh, we discovered a second resource of stone. Here. To the northwest. It is, if you're wondering, still obscured enough that I can't actually build it. So we need to essentially explore the back half of that. But at least we know where the second source of stone is. So the Stone Age continues. We're not back to the Wood Age. Which is a good thing. We do have 2 unemployed tribe members. So let's get them jobs. I'll build 1 extra wood camp. And you want 50. So we're going to split the yellow medicine to 50%. 50% taken to increase productivity and 50% to drive the shepherd of the servants of the shepherd rituals, which we'll do right now. Are the mushroom spots infinite? Yes, with some caveats and cutouts. There are times where you might not be able to access them, kind of like during the oh. Look at that. Flood. It's on the horizon. Rain will drown our lands. Beware the waters. Do not let them swallow the tribe. So yeah, maybe our mushroom collection spots become flooded. Now that you know flood's coming. So during the eclipse, we wouldn't have been able to get out there unless we illuminated it. And it's possible that flood waters envelop the collection spots as well. We also have an aspect of Disciples of the Beast, so there's a spiritual choice. So there's live and let live, or guiding the way. So live and let live is that tolerance, which is the ability to suppress fear, goes up twice and can never become negative. Guiding the way is that more groups will ask to join your tribe. So, +2 to tolerance, or more people attempt to join. When more people attempt to join, I believe what that means is that more people will ask to join, which rejecting them increases stability, if you recall. So more people attempting to join is also sort of a way, given some chance, to increase your stability as well. For reference, our fear is 6 and our discontent is 0. So this tolerance +2 would bring us to tolerance 3, which is like a lot of fear suppression. But yeah, so there is the spiritual choice there. That's a pretty not all of the spiritual choices, as you may have can tell, are all that impactful. We have been pretty lucky in getting significantly impactful ones. And I have another random event here, so I'll start reading this while I wrap up the original poll. A twisted figure arrives at the camp. The old woman looks ancient, with hair like silver and deep wrinkles on her face. She moves as if she was no heavier than a feather, and the grass barely bends under her feet. We meet again, or is it the first time? You all look the same to me. Nonetheless, you should feel lucky. I'm inclined to ask for your help. I require 100 food in 3 days' time, and you will receive a reward. Do accept my offer. So we're going to go with tolerance on the spiritual choice, and I'm going to wrap that up so you can vote on this one. Choice. Offer food for a reward or refuse. So she's asking for 100 food, and we have about 900. Smutty Monkeys, thank you for the resub, by the way. All right, we are going to go offer help. And between the aspects, we're going with live and let live. So then if we take a look at the tribe, our tolerance is +2. And because we improved our tolerance in the first chapter, it's a total of 3. So tribe member fear is -30. So if you take a look here, there's a huge modifier to daily fear climb. Essentially, our people are not fearless, or not fearful. They're very fearless. Got a very high fear resist. Are the spiritual choices random every time? More or less, yes. There's a finite subset of spiritual choices, but where they are on the tree, I think if you get to the end of the tree, you will have hit every single choice. I could be wrong about that. But, yeah. They're randomized so that the first option is not always going to be the same. So second option, so on and so forth. So there is a finite randomness to it, of course, because there's not infinite options. But so question for you guys. Should I spend, now that we have maximum tolerance, should I spend 100 influence to increase stability? Or save it to counteract negative events? We hit 100. In fact, we hit 100 a little while ago, but so much has been happening. So there you go. And we're about a third of the way for Disciples of the Shepherd. And I think tomorrow we'll start consuming the yellow medicine for productivity. Can you spend it to reduce? Yeah, you can spend it to reduce stability or tolerance. I've not tried it, but there is probably a strange way of playing where you just fully embrace the chaos. I'm not going to say you necessarily win that way. I can't speak from experience. I haven't done that. But yeah, if you want to plunge your tribe into a intolerant and unstable setup, you're allowed to. And if you want to try that in your play, power to you. Explorer, can you go that way? So one thing to note is that you can set up exploration platforms to reveal things. So After this poll is wrapped up, I will poll for that, whether or not I set up an exploration platform there to try to reveal the stone node so that we can start supplying stone. Because our original stone mine is 70 stone left, so we're about to run out. Well, not about, but, you know, we're definitely heading towards running out. A little bit of a spiritual needs check. So we have an explorer on a journey hitting critical levels of spiritual need, so very possibly he becomes a gleam. And then the other explorer is very possibly going to become gleam. But almost everyone else is at least +2 or greater. Got it. And we're saving it. Should I build an explorer camp near this stone? If we did want to go the meta, or whatever, the strategy of having really short but many explorations, having more explorer platforms, and running shorter exploration missions would be... If we want to go that route, obviously setting up a platform for it would be ideal. But that's up to you. And of course, yes, I'm using stone, but I'm using stone to get stone, so I don't know. Could be a benefit. Also, as I briefly noted, flood barrier. So flood barrier is a building that essentially is like a bridge to bridge over flooded water. Stops flood water from spreading and acts as a walkway. All right, welcome back, journeyman. So, they discovered a small swath of the outer north. Not enough to reveal any strategic resources, but something. So it looks like we are going to build a platform here. And I now can build a stone pit there. I'm going to assign stone pit workers that are reliable. And I'm not going to have a lonely explorer. That sounds like a terrible idea. So someone of very sound mind exploring. Let's do Crowhar, who has no fear or discontent. Playing it safe. Oh my god, where are you, Crowhar? I can also run extra explorations. I have the resources for it, so I'm going to start that. And should I take the strategy of just exploring one or two spots at a time? Yes or no? I guess I need to know that first to know how much I'm supplying my caravan. Now that the explorers are back, I hope to fulfill their spiritual needs before they have crises events. So I think that was Peora, who's going to bed, and Parig, who's going to bed. So they might also become Gleam as a result of having been out of the camp for too long. They forgot how to be a good tribe member. All right. And yes, we are taking that strategy. Okay. Cool. So let's set up 2 short journeys. So we already have a journey to the south. So I'm going to continue a journey to the north. But I'm not going to oversupply it. We're going to go much shorter, just to reveal little bits at a time quickly. So I will send out you and you. So they're not reliable workers, so I'm not at a loss And I'm only going to send them a little bit of wood and food so that they're a much shorter journey. Where else to go? I think that you can have 2 explorers exploring north and south. So north, south, northeast, north, south, or somewhere new. And I'll just pick somewhere at random. So in terms of where we have explored, we have more of the south explored, a little bit of the north. So the north is 17% and the south is 25%. We currently already have parties going north and south. Or I can go somewhere totally different and hope to find strategic resources. Essentially what we're looking for is ore or relics, which I do not have yet. All right, looks like head to the south. Cool. So getting more of the south explored. Again, taking the strategy of short trips that aren't taxing on our people, because the cost of being out there, I suppose there is a strategy where you send them almost to the brink of death, knowing that they're going to be essentially burned members. But there was that question from Fangface, so let's answer that. So the question was, can I send, and Parig did become a Gleam as well. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to name these Gleam. I'm going to say Gleamer, much the way I did the Tinkerer, and Gleamer. So the question is, and maybe I'll have Gleamer 2, can I send Gleamers out? Is that the only Gleamers I have? I got a lot of members now. Yes. So can we deploy them to the south? No. They are not selectable. They can't be, let's say, sacrificed in that way, because I think you asked whether or not it would be possible to sacrifice them. They are essentially outcasts and don't follow the ways of your group, and therefore can't exactly be ordered to do certain things. All right, the other group returned. This is Wizardray and Garego, and we're probably going to want them to go to a ritual ASAP. But we did find a source of yellow medicine here. Unfortunately, I already have yellow medicine back home, but like, there's more of it. Does sending bigger groups make them more resilient? No. What makes them lacking resilience is a lack of fulfillment of their spiritual need, and there are some random events when deployed out of camp that will fulfill your spiritual needs, but it's random. It's chance, and chance isn't resilience. So there is no good way to endure the lack of spirituality when you're deployed for a long time. The other question I have for you is, should I start to build a flood wall around the inner village? So, I'm not going to talk about what happens when the flood comes, but each flood platform costs 6 wood and 2 stone. It's discounted because of Act 2. And the tooltip of flood barriers is stops flood water from spreading and acts as a walkway. So we could wait to see where the flood water is and try to set these up as sandbags, holding the flood water at bay, or we can proactively try to, and expensively, might I add, build a flood wall around the inner village to make sure that none of the other inner village becomes compromised due to flood water. So that's up to you. I'm going to say no more about that. And then there's one other thing that I wanted to add. Now that we have a second source of stone, do I start using the stone for beacons, for light, to illuminate towards mushrooms or the second stone mine? Because the second stone mine is relatively far from our stockpile, it is less efficient as a result. Because it takes a while for stone miners to get out there, and then it takes a very long while for the stone miners to bring stuff back to the stockpile. So just because you have a second stone mine doesn't necessarily mean it's useful. What could be useful, and this is a bit of a spoiler, but the fire that you set up in an outpost, this outpost fire, can be set up anywhere in an outpost that you want. So what I mean by that is if we decided to annex the outer south, and granted, I need 8% of the outer south revealed before I'm able to annex it, but if we decided to annex the outer south, I could put my fire right next to the yellow mushrooms so that there's essentially no travel time between the yellow mushrooms and whatever we set up around the fire. Essentially, you are deciding where the center of your village is. And I mentioned that because getting the stone here is pretty dang inefficient. But if we found stone somewhere in the north or south or elsewhere, we could set up a fire right next to the stone to get the stone very efficiently by setting a fire and a stockpile adjacent to the stone so the travel times are reduced. But that's not something you can do in the home tile. Well, actually, you kind of can, I guess, but only if you set up your initial stockpile next to the stone, which is what we did. But once you have your stockpile built and once you have your granary built, they're not movable anymore. Another tie, guys? Alright, I'll leave it to a coin. Lord. Heads is we build the flood barrier, and tails is we don't. Tails, we don't. We're not building a flood wall ahead of time. Kadath, also, thank you for gifting out a sub. Alright, Nope, we have another gleamer. Gleamer 3. They had a loss of their social needs for too long. And we have a fourth gleaner. Basically, anyone that has been on a journey past 2, minus like one person, has turned to the gleam. Statistically. I'd also like to add another tent. But there isn't anywhere in the inner circle to add a tent other than, like, if I wanted to nuke this crop field. Which I don't. Or the Spirit Lodge, which I don't. So I will build another tent, but it's going to be one step back from the center. Because the inner circle is fulfilled. So I'll put it there. Because I'm looking for more immigrants, but yeah, alright, let's go ahead and make some more lumber kits. Right, bud? You like lumber. All dogs like sticks, right? Well, unfortunately, I am just about out of time for this stream. In fact, I'm a little overtime. So, I'm tantalizingly close to the flood waters, but the secrets of the flood are going to have to wait for probably you to discover them yourself. Thank you for tuning in to The Tribe Must Survive, which originally streamed live on Twitch February 22nd. If you have any questions or feedback for me, let me know in the comments below, but please keep in mind that I've asked for no spoilers or backseating. It is important that the viewers do not have this game spoiled for them. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. Hope to catch you in next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow tribe members.